Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the improved world map. My name is Atomo, and I'm joined as always by Calamity. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, our matchup today is in Division 4A between two longtime Division 4 rivals in Nakiro and Noicel, Calamity, as we take a look at their stats.
Yeah, neither of their seasons has been going particularly well. Noisel just one win to himself, and right now at the bottom of the table in 10th place, and Nakira himself only 2 wins. For Noisel, it was, I wouldn't want to say expected, but it
Mhm.
wasn't a surprise that he'd be having a bit of a more difficult season. He wasn't far up the table last season either, only in 6th place, and most of the people below him last season aren't in his division anymore. And for Nakiro, he was very, very close to getting promoted last season. So his fall from grace, so to say, is a bit more surprising. But we'll see in a world map. Nakiro's season especially is not yet over. If he gets a few wins, he can still very easily catch up to the others and maybe fight for promotion even. And for Noisel, he definitely needs as many wins as he can possibly get. Otherwise, he might have a rough time even making it to the relegation playoff.
Mhm. Yeah, it is worth mentioning that the Division 4 tables are pretty tight, so even with only one or two wins, they're not looking at relegation quite yet, even though we're running out of weeks to go here. Yeah, our map this week is the Improved World by Wolf Trekker. Average score of around 16,500. Too many locations to count, really. Don't bother practicing. Just a world map, and has been played close to 80,000 times. So a very popular one indeed. Calamity. Yeah, but this one, no real kind of gimmicks or themes to really help our competitors out here.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I just looked up. Nakiro and Noisel played each other last season in week 1 in Uruguay, where both of them didn't do particularly well, but Nakiro ended up just edging it with 197 points. But yeah, no, world map generally, I would favor Nakiro slightly, just based on general skill, but he's had some bad weeks this season, and well, so has Noisel. I just think Nakiro has had more good weeks, but we'll see who ends up on the better side of the coin this week.
Yeah, definitely. The purest form of GeoGuessr competition, the world map. And we'll see who can count on top of this one as we get into round number one. And right away, if there's a very good sign.
Is it very good?
I thought it was, but maybe not. I thought there was an
It
address
had
on there, but I couldn't quite read it.
it had some
But
English on it at least,
yeah,
and
the
Ye
old
old
British
British
hotel
hotel.
for Nakiro. Well, we're not in the UK. This is definitely not the UK. This is Australia, as we see a URL for Nakiro
Yep.
there.
And Australian like small towns can be quite tricky sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It can take you a while to find signs that point you towards other cities, and even then, those signs might sometimes just give you, hey, this small city or small town is like 20 kilometers that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if they find some better signs here, but it can be tricky.
Not quite yet. It actually looks like Neutzel has found himself in one of those odd, bad covered spots that do dot.
It's a
There.
nice bridge Noisel's just crossed. But yeah, that's mostly what I was talking about. Oh, but there's the sign, A5 towards Launceston.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts him in Tasmania if he realizes it.
Yeah, as well as the A. I think the A designations are almost all in Tasmania, or am I thinking of
There
something
are,
else?
yeah, there are A designations in mainland Australia as well, as you can see on Noisel's screen there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the other ones, the B and C, well, especially once you find a C designation, I think those are solely in Tasmania.
Yeah, that's what my mind is trying to remind myself of. Some of those. So Nakiro, of course, has that information, which means he is checking out the island. But unfortunately for Noisel, he doesn't quite notice that, and hopefully doesn't forget about the little island of Tasmania down there.
Yeah.
Great Lake, also there. We saw that on Nakiro's map,
It
just
is
south of him.
an interesting one though. Noisel sees a sign that points him 129 kilometers to Bothwell,
Mm-hmm.
which Just if you'd asked me, is it possible for there in Tasmania to be a town that's like 129 kilometers away from another one? I would have probably said no. But I guess it's just because Tasmania is next to the huge country of Australia that it looks
Mhm.
so small.
Yeah, and there we go. The town entrance sign for Nakiro means he'll be getting a pretty decent score here. World map in the right town, even if you don't pinpoint it. Looking at only dropping a few hundred points at most.
Yeah, but
But
he's got 2 more minutes. He should be able to pinpoint that without any problems.
it's Noicel that's a little bit worrying here. There's a nice sign right there if you'll turn around and take a look at it. But can't quite figure out where this road name is or any of these cities. And it's going to switch over to New Zealand. Unfortunately, the signs aren't the right country. He'll recognize that fast. And again, skips right over Tasmania. He's really going to kick himself once he realizes that in about a minute.
Yeah. The problem is usually, like, as I think Nakaro did, once you see road signs that have, like, not only A something, but also B something, which it was a Nakaro sign, Tasmania comes to mind a lot easier. Because usually Australia, the states themselves keep to one designation most of the time. So if you see multiple letters, it's a big clue for Tasmania. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's on his mind at all. And
Yeah, he has
yeah.
the horrible misfortune of finding only one road number and not knowing where in the country that could even be. And he's got about 30 seconds to realize it might be somewhere else. In the meantime, that's 30 seconds that Nakiro will not need as he manages to pinpoint. Street names, beautifully labeled right by the starting location, makes it pretty easy for him. And now a last ditch effort, and just maybe this is South Africa. Not really sure what's going on. I don't think he believes it's South Africa, Calamity, but it's just one of those.
I hope
haven't
he doesn't
found the
know.
road number. Yeah, it's kind of you second guess yourself when you don't find that number anywhere.
Mm,
And
yeah, he's not gonna find it now.
Yeah, and there we will. He'll realize it there. 2,096 points for him. It's in the right country, but Australia is a mighty big country compared to that ace of Nakiro. So definitely not the start that Noicel would have wanted, Calamity.
Yeah, and Launceston and Devonport are both cities that you should know. It can always happen that there's like one city that somehow you haven't heard of, while apparently everyone else has. But now there's with two of them, I think, yeah, just not a good round from him. There's nothing in particular he did wrong, really. Just a lack of knowledge combined with just forgetting about Tasmania's existence.
Yeah. Just even a quick glance over might have spotted that road number and saved him a couple thousand points there. As we'll jump into round number 2. So now Noicel is looking for Nakiro to get the country completely wrong. That'll be what he needs to make that gap up. Close to 3,000 points. And this might be the round to do it.
Yeah?
Dirt roads, probably in the southern hemisphere, given the sun direction, but you can never count on it 100%.
Yeah, from just what they're seeing right now, it's not even like a guaranteed continent yet. This could, just by architecture, although this makes it pretty obvious for Nakuro that it's South America, but just from the architecture, it could have been Southeast Asia, something like Cambodia or Thailand. But with Nakuro seeing the Spanish writing, narrows the countries down by a whole lot.
Let's see if Noicel will be able to catch any good clues for himself. There's both of them trying to get out of town, which isn't proving to be too easy. Quite a few dead ends in the coverage here, and only a few signs around town. And so far, there's another dead end for Nakiro. But yeah, Noicel also not seeing anything either. Windy dirt roads and dead ends. And hoping for
that's the wrong way. He sees a small sign there, but that's not gonna help him.
Yeah.
This would have been, well, he's gonna meet a dead end there anyway, so he's gonna turn around. But this is one of those instances where, one of the things that you should look at when you're in the middle of nowhere on a road that looks like it goes, looks like the major road around here, which, it's not really a massive road, but it's bigger than the others. go in the direction that the car came from. That's
There we
just
go.
the safest way to make it to civilization.
Yeah, Nakiro does manage to at least hit a paved road with more Spanish, but that's about it so far. So he's in a better position, but really hasn't gained anything from it quite yet compared to Noicel, who has seen Spanish.
The problem is he has the potential now to gain much more from it, which Noicel just doesn't have where he's currently at.
Yeah, that's not something Noicel needs given how far behind he already is. And some big signs here for Nakiro, which do point to Peru.
Mm-hmm.
And you know by the just the general geography that we got to be in the middle of nowhere in Peru.
Yeah, it does also say the region on the sign.
Oh, there it is. Yes. I was assuming he'd covered up whatever I could have read with the map, but apparently not. There we go. So he's got that region honing on it. So not too many points to be made up by Noicel here if he can even find anything to go off of. A minute and a half left, under a minute and a half left, and no look at the map yet for Noicel.
Yeah, I think Noisel's problem is that he doesn't really have any kind of system from what I've seen from him. He just seems to go that way and then it's a dead end, so go this way and then go that way and then go the way he's already went and then just walk around in circles 4 times. He's gone into Peru as well, so that's not bad.
And he's
just gonna okay.
Yeah, just give up there and say, you know what? I think I'm stuck in the town. I'm not going to try. 3,436 points for him. Not bad, given that he was stuck in a town with he couldn't get out of. But compared to what Nakiro has been able to get, it's not going to be a good second round at all. And it looks like it's going to be pretty close to, well, 4-9 at least here, probably for Nakiro, maybe 4-8 at the most.
Yeah, interesting though that he just gave up there so quickly, Noicel, because I thought when I played this seed, I thought this town wasn't actually hard to get out at all. There wasn't many roads covered, so you just took a few of the ways and eventually you found the right one. Well,
yeah,
we're gonna
I
see
didn't
something.
manage to get out, and so all I managed to do was 4992 there for Nakiro. I did manage to see a couple signs that did indicate Peru. There was one church in town that I found that had like a district for Lima, and I was like, obviously we're not in Lima, but we must be close enough given that it's run by the same, bureaucracy. And so I just put us basically, in between Lima and the border there, as you can see on Noisel's screen, and it wasn't too bad. But yeah, there was stuff even in the town if you didn't get out of it, if you just took your time and be patient. But it didn't seem like he was up for that, and so Nakiro will take an even bigger lead in after a second round.
Yeah, and I mean, if you kind of know it is Peru, then the location Noisel put it in. I mean, it's not the worst location, but further up north there made more sense. But yeah, it's just maybe he's already half given up on the season itself with how bad it's gone so far.
Yeah, and a horrible round one wasn't going to do anything for his confidence as we get into round 3 and see if we can't give Noicel something to live for here. And well, this isn't going to be it.
If you thought getting out of that Peruvian town was difficult, good luck.
Yeah.
This round is 10 times more difficult to get out of.
Yes. With a couple dead ends to boot, but definitely a country a little bit easier. Thailand.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Actually it is not I'll get it right one of these times. There's 2 ends. It is Noicel who gets the first glimpse of the language.
So, well, Nakiro has seen a sign in Thai, but he just didn't really bother too much with it because, well, it was in Thai, so...
Yeah, what are you going to do? Now, Thailand was in Season 3 last year?
We haven't played Thailand yet.
We had Cambodia, that's what it was. We had Cambodia, next door neighbor.
Yep, so a good sneak peek into what playing Thailand's going to be like.
If it ever comes up in the map rotation, which we all hope and pray it doesn't, but I mean, Thailand actually isn't that bad. There are pretty distinct regions.
It is pretty bad.
But besides that, it can be pretty bad. You can't read any of the signs. In the bigger cities, yeah. But out in the rural areas like this, no, not at all. And yeah,
Yeah.
both of them just struggling to try to figure out any way out of this.
Yeah, the bigger cities are definitely fine in Thailand. It's locations like these that are just good luck. You can, as you said, you can sort of make out which general region in Thailand it is, but even on a world map, that might cost you like 500 points, and I don't even want to imagine how much you'd get on a Thai specific map. You'd probably get like 1,000 points for being in the right general region.
Yeah. Yeah. So they just keep worming their way through here, trying to find something, checking out the plant life.
I think Nakiro is actually close to the region where you can make it out of the cutoff coverage, but I think he's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And yeah, Noisel's not anywhere near the right region for that. I think, yeah, he's not. Because there's just one little piece of of salvation, pretty much. There's in the far north of the closed off coverage here, you can jump to a different road. But apart from that, if you don't find that, you're stuck here.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I see some Division 2 and 1 players doing is even if you hit a dead end, try to just keep clicking because sometimes it looks like you can't go any further and maybe one click doesn't work. But you click 4 or 5 times in different little locations and all of a sudden you jump and it's like, oh, there we go. So you can sort of cheat the system a bit.
It's definitely in a round like this, it's definitely worth it. In general, if you just hit a dead end one way and you can go the other way completely fine, it's usually not worth your time trying to make it out of that dead end. But in a round like this, there's not a lot else you can be doing anyway, so you might as well try.
Yeah. So the only big clue I could say here is that there are some mountains in the distance there, which means we're going to be near one of the borders.
It's pretty red. You've got red soil here. That's generally a sign for the northern part of the country. It's relatively flat between the mountains as well, so it's probably not too far north.
A pretty interesting sign for Nakiro. That looks like an outline of some district or something, but
it's an outline of something.
And yeah, he's with 20 seconds left, literally going to put us in the middle of the country and hope for the best. And unfortunately for Noicel, his guess is not going to be good enough. 3,532. And so we can see right there, the location is in the north. So as long as Nakiro leaves his pin in the middle, he'll get the better of his opponent. He'll actually adjust it a little bit closer. 4,219 for him. So every round, 1,000 or close to it plus lead for Nakiro just keeps getting bigger. Calamity.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Noicel here. And we've already had 2 pretty difficult rounds here. So on a world map, it's technically just the same chance as always for another one to pop up. But in general, most of the rounds aren't difficult enough to make up that many points. And with how far he's already behind, it's quite unlikely that he'll come back from this one.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can at least give him some decent locations for once. And there we go. This'll do. Smack dab in the middle of a northern European city. And already Norway, given the top level domain for both of them. And probably Oslo.
Possibly, yeah.
In fact, we played Oslo in Formula G, and we saw a lot of this city if you practiced. So it is Oslo.
Yeah. So maybe a bit of a nicer round for Noicel to at least get a good score himself, but he certainly won't be making up any points in this one.
Yeah, 14,211 for Nakiro to Noisel's 9,064. That is quite the mountain to climb in 2 rounds. And given the fact that we're in a pretty obvious city, which Nakiro doesn't quite pick up yet. Even if it's the wrong end of the country, I don't think it'll drop him enough points to make him too vulnerable. But
yeah, essentially he can drop 150 points and he'll still be fine no matter how the last round goes.
Mhm.
Obviously, ideally, he'd just want to get into Oslo, and then he's fine anyway.
Yeah, we'll be out of reach for the last round. But so far, Noicel proving he does have a little bit of knowledge, at least when it comes to European countries. Right in on Oslo. And looking at that gentleman as if he's got a clue. Not sure, really. Maybe just checking the river, actually.
Probably more likely.
Yeah, probably more likely. Like, oh, wait, that's my uncle. We have to be over here. No.
The thing is, Oslo is generally small enough so that if you can find a semi-decent road,
Mhm.
in terms of its size, you should be just looking at the map for it.
Yeah. But still proving a little bit of a conundrum for Nakiro, who knows the country but can't quite pick up the city yet. At least he hasn't moved his pin. In the meantime, Noicel working on some pinpointing here. But really, he's what, maybe 100-point margin of being in the right town versus being on top of the pin.
I think it's even less. I think
Oh,
if you're still in Oslo, you're probably not more than like 50, 60 points off.
okay. So, yeah, he's fighting for every inch he can get, but who knows? It might be enough. You never know. That's a pretty iconic building if you know Oslo for Nakiro there, but doesn't appear so. But still a minute and a half to go, so
It
nothing to
actually
worry
says
about here.
Oslo there in the bottom left on those green signs.
So either he's just completely missing it, and an ace for Noicel. Sorry about that, buddy. We didn't mean to miss that. An ace for you there. Does manage to pinpoint that location. Not too bad. And Nakiro a little lost. Goes back to the
Yeah.
start, tries a new direction. Not sure what to look for. There he goes. Okay, well, if anything, after 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, it might as well just put us in Oslo. But he's not even confident about that, Calamity.
Hmm. I mean, I'm the first person to understand. Like, I don't know. Looks like a big city, could be anything really. But he saw, well, he didn't see obviously, but there was Oslo written on some of those signs, so
Mm-hmm.
he should know where it is. But yeah, the problem with locations in the capital is, well, if you don't know after 4 minutes, just you're gonna put it in the capital anyway.
Yeah, biggest city. So even if he doesn't even know it's Oslo, his just good GeoGuessr skills here of just saying, hey, put us in the biggest city will serve him quite well here. Not going to be anywhere really close to pinpointing, but he'll be happy just to be in the right town. There's actually the bridge that he just was, not the bridge, the tunnel he just went through, not too far from his current pin location, so not doing too bad for himself. Down to the wire though, but he will get there. As
Yeah,
time
it's
will run out
definitely
for him.
possible to pinpoint in 20 seconds, but yeah, it looks like he's just a bit too slow.
Yeah, and as you can see right there, Clement, as you mentioned, he's quite a ways away and only lost 2 points.
Mm.
So yeah, an ace and a win, a round win for Noicel, something to take away from this one, but definitely not enough points dropped by Nakiro going into the last one here, Calamity.
Yep, Noisel's more than 5,000 points behind, so that's another loss for him, and it wasn't the easiest seed, but probably not enough for a bonus point either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with a 2,000-point round. And, well, here we go. This, I mean, I don't think if Noicel had a chance, this is one of the few locations that could give it to him.
Well, he's more than 5,000 points behind, so he doesn't have
Yeah.
a chance.
But I mean, this is what he would have expected. Like, I mean, obviously he doesn't know he's over 5,000 points behind.
Yeah.
But seeing this round, he should, in his mind, at least think, okay, maybe if I'm within a couple thousand, maybe 1,000 or two, I can get that back here. And they hit the same dead end at the same time.
Yeah, the thing is, you could already see on Noisel's screen a couple of times the red car. So it's in the Ukraine. Probably one of my least favorite countries in GeoGuessr, but let's see what those two make of it.
Would you rather be in the Ukraine or Russia?
Russia, 100%.
Mm.
Because the thing is, in Russia, if you're in the middle of nowhere at least most signs that point you to something that's further away point you to a big city you'll recognize. Whereas in the Ukraine, it's just full of small towns because the Ukraine is pretty densely populated with small towns, and Russia isn't. So the likelihood of finding, Nakiro actually found a Ukraine license plate there, so he knows.
Yeah.
The likelihood of finding a good sign is bigger in Russia than in the Ukraine, in my opinion.
And if you didn't know the license plate, that'll give it away. The Ukrainian
Yeah.
flag and kind of emblem there. And Noicel himself has also seen a bunch of blue and yellow painted all over the
Yep.
place. And the top level domain for him as well. So Nakiro actually head out of town looking for some road signs that can be helpful. That one used to be helpful. Maybe
Not
20
anymore.
years ago. Not
Yeah.
anymore. He's trying to read it nonetheless. I'll give him props for that.
It is sort of readable, but it's the kind of readable where if you know what it says, it's probably not that difficult. But if you have no idea and maybe like don't recognize any of the cities on it either, then you're just it's probably not going to help you.
Yeah, and again, just throwing down a pin in the country. Ukraine. So,
That's not what it said.
No, it said it was chi at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yep.
Geoguessr or something like that.
Something close to that.
Yeah. I can sort of read Cyrillic, but not at the speed that they're showing it to me.
Mhm.
I got to go slow and sound it out like a 2-year-old. But there we go. Well, Noicel will find a pretty decent sign here. The P10 and a couple city names that at least some of those letters look recognizable. Don't have to.
It's also written. It's written out in Latin as well to help you.
And it looks like Nakiro's just going to be heading off into the sunset here. And for anything he can find.
Cherkasy is actually relatively big, so not too difficult to find. But Noisel's not quite looking in the right region. He's looking a bit too far zoomed in, which makes it a lot more difficult with
you
looking at how many small towns there are.
All those small towns clogging up your screen. Not going to be helpful.
Everything everything in both Cyrillic and Latin alphabet as well doesn't help. Just makes the map more full.
But it doesn't look like they both know the country, but it doesn't look like either one's going to get down to the pinpointing in this one. Yeah, Nakiro just pretty much throwing us somewhere near Kiev.
You can see on Nakiro's screen how big Cherkasy shows up, and it's on Noisel's screen as well a few times now.
Yeah, to the southeast along the river.
Yep.
But neither of them picking up on that. Yeah.
To be fair to Nakiro, I don't think he's seen Cherkasy, at least not in Latin alphabet. He might have seen a sign for it in Cyrillic, but Noisel's got it right in front of him. But with time running out, neither of them find it.
And Nakiro will take 4 of the 5 rounds, and by pretty significant margins, meaning he will take this one relatively easily. And a bit of a disappointing world map from Noicel, Calamity, given that he has been in Division 4 for a while, and there shouldn't have been anything completely new to him. Even the countries that were given were not entirely bad.
Yeah, the Oslo round was good. The last round is forgivable because it's Ukraine. The Thailand round is forgivable. He could have gotten a bit closer based on landscape, but yeah, there was just nothing to find there. But yeah, the Peru round wasn't a good look, just giving up there, and I don't even remember, what was round 1 again?
Tasmania.
Oh yeah, Tasmania, yeah, that probably already dropped his motivation by quite a bit once he'd got that wrong.
As we see the final scores here, 18,355 for Noicel, 23,734 for Nakiro. So yeah, definitely under 20,000, under 19,000 on a world map. No bonus points going to be going Noisel's way at all. A bit unfortunate for them. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this matchup, please check out the other videos. We've casted plenty of the Season 4 of Reddit League so far, and we've got plenty more weeks to come. So hit that subscribe button if you want to catch all the matchups and the show as well to show you how it's all going. and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Bye.